Folks, the reason that I am so exercised about the issues the right is experiencing right now is because I would like to see conservatism win. I want to beat the Democrats in elections more than anything, but it's especially important right now because the Democrats have lost their minds. For the few sane people that are still in the Democratic Party, they seem to be refusing to do or say anything about that. And we have an insane take for you today, this time from the insufferable wine mom, podcaster, socialist revolutionary, Jennifer Welch. The mainstream Democrats are embracing the commies. They've just been eaten by the commies. There was a House Democratic resolution. It was actually promoted by Thomas Massie, the bewilderingly insane Republican who's been ousted in a primary, to defund all military aid to Israel. It was voted for by one Republican. And that's not a sentiment that has a lot of traffic inside the Republican Party. A majority of Democrats in the House who voted in favor of defunding all military aid to Israel, 103 of them, because immorality on both the foreign and domestic front had become a litmus test for radical Democrats. And the normie Democrats, the people who are supposed to be moderate, are just accepting this. They're swallowing it whole because they too are trying to look for love in all the wrong places. Andy Bashir will be the first person eaten by the DSA. Here he was with Katie Couric saying that the Democratic Socialists of America, these communists, the big problem with that, there's really nothing wrong with them. They're just too passionate. They're just too passionate.
Many who are running under the Democratic Socialist brand or the Progressive brand are making their case with just extreme passion. They are convincing voters that they will work as hard as they can, and that's what voters are asking for right now.
They just want the extreme passion of the communists. John Fetterman, again, the last sane Democrat, he said yesterday, why exactly are you embracing the commies? Like, what is your thing here?
For me, what you're afraid of is defined by what you won't criticize or won't call out. And I'm always going to call out people that they're not Democrats. In fact, some of them aren't even socialists. They've actually self-identified as communists. I'm not sure why there's more outrage within the party, and they will refuse to acknowledge or say, well, I haven't been paying attention to that race so much for all those.
Again, he is right about this. The fact that Democrats continue to make room for the psychos, they will be embracing every psychotic position they possibly can by the end of this election cycle, and certainly going into 2028. If you're perceived as too moderate, you got nothing. You got nothing. You're going to get outflanked and outflanked dramatically. And they just keep going crazier and crazier. Again, many of the faces in their beloved media ecosystem seem more insane every day. So Jennifer Welch, again, I will never understand how a person like Jennifer Welch has an audience, mainly because she's awful on camera, truly awful on camera. I speak as someone who's not particularly amazing on camera. Jennifer Welch makes me look like Laurence Olivier. My goodness. Jennifer Welch was on her show ripping into homeschooling. Like this is where the Democratic Party is going, attacking the homeschoolers.
They're incapable of critically thinking. They're incapable of deduction skills. And what pisses me off about this the most is how many parents project a script onto their kids. I'm a dumbass, so therefore I'm going to make sure you're a dumbass. I'm a an idiot. I made D's, as our caller said, Ellie. She, the dumbest people she knew in college were homeschooling their kids. And so this is trickle down stupidity. This is MAGA on steroids. This is MAHA. This is tradwife. This is unvaxxed and unjacked and all that shit.
These people, these folks, first of all, homeschoolers generally outperform public school students. Second of all, this bizarre hatred for parents schooling their own children and extraordinary faith in the public school system, which is failing all over the country in a wide variety of areas, is pretty astonishing. But don't worry, the hatred doesn't stop there. Welch has a co-host. That co-host's name is Angie Sullivan, who says she does not trust parents who want to be with their children.
You would not believe how many people in Bible study homeschool their kids. And you just think, I worry about that. And then you see those witness booklets or whatever they're called that the Duggars use, and they're like top out at 8th grade. I mean, I just think homeschooling is a bad idea from soup to nuts. I don't care if you're a nuclear physicist. I think it's just weird as fuck that you want your kids around you all day, every day, and all night. And just the socialization. For me personally, it was that I would have gotten up on my hands and knees and strapped them to my back and crawled to get them to school every day, just to get them where I wasn't. So I don't trust somebody that wants to be with their kids 24/7. I think a lot of dumb people do it because it's just easier, and that's a concern.
Homeschooling is absolutely 100% not easier at all. Okay, this lady is crazy. This is a crazy thing to say. First of all, you don't trust parents who want to be with their kids? What is wrong with you? Seriously, what is wrong with you? Do adults need a break from their kids sometimes? Sure. Do good parents want to be with their kids a lot? Absolutely. Folks, there is nothing more important on this planet than defending children, and that includes children who are unborn. The fact is there's so many Americans who don't even know that children who are unborn actually have value. Why? Well, because they never see the child. I understand that conceptually you can understand all of this, but seeing a child in the womb, kicking, sucking its thumb, interacting, actively growing, like, that is a thing that changes lives. This is why you need to sponsor an ultrasound through Preborn. It just costs $28 to donate. Dial pound 250, say baby, or visit preborn.com/Shapiro. And I'm confused. You don't trust somebody who wants to be with their kids. You just trust somebody who wants to be with other people's kids. That's your pitch. My goodness. And the Democrats will embrace all this sort of stuff. They do. So when I say that I want the Democrats to lose, it's because I want them to lose. But I don't just want them to lose in name. I want them to lose in policy. I don't want any of the policies that the Democrats are pushing. I don't want a weak foreign policy. And I don't want a hatred of free market economics that is being propped up by a bunch of lies about how income inequality damn all of us to the loss of the American dream and all this slop. I'm not interested in a bunch of conspiracy theorizing about how the American dream is dead and you can't get ahead, and therefore all the meritocracy itself must be ground under. I don't want that. I don't want it from Democrats. I don't want it from Republicans. And listen, it may be because the world's imperfect, that we have a bunch of imperfect choices in the future in presidential. Sure. I mean, people very rarely get what they want in politics. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't call it out when we see it, because it is both bad strategy and bad principle. What an amazing video you just watched. Wasn't that amazing? Well, if you think so, head on over to dailywire.com/subscribe to watch the full show ad-free, or check out this crazy story here.